Past 8, grab a coffee to help ease my brain. There's no time to play. Climb out the sheets, find the jeans from a previous day. Grab the keys from off the counter, commute into the city, gonna take another hour. Man, I hate trading time for a way. At least I got a home and a job that pays. And find that I left my distractions behind. In the meantime, I'll blindfold my pride and keep hold of my time like it's gold. Fading from color, reaching to find when I wonder how. Saying it'll all be fine, why sit around and waste the time? That's so overrated, yeah. If you make one, you will fall. Too much of a temptation, yeah. There's a comfort in the crawl. Now another one. Oh, that darkness, it won't set me back again. Oh, I'm not asleep or awake. I won't let the future escape. Take me back to you. Shake the ground. Oh, this lightness, it will fill the air around. Oh, I'm not asleep or awake. I won't let the future escape. I'm bulletproof, don't ever lose. Put the evil in the devil and I'm let it loose. I'm an earthquake, make your bones shake. There's no question I'm the king, I always dominate. A force to be reckoned with, better remember it. Look at what I can do, walking all over you. Incredible, it's criminal, I never lose. I'm bulletproof. I'm bulletproof, don't ever lose. Put the evil in the devil and I'm let it loose. I'm an earthquake, make your bones shake. There's no question I'm the king, I always dominate. A force to be reckoned with, better remember it. Look at what I can do, walking all over you. Incredible, it's criminal, I never lose. I'm bulletproof. feel like something new. You feel like something. You feel like something new. You feel like something. Don't just stop it. Doing what you do. When I lay back, holding on to you. Feel like something new. Yeah. Got my senses here on overload. All my body is for you to hold. Feel like something new. Yeah.
Think you've seen it all? With Faceit Watch's Point of View Selector, you can experience the game from any pro's perspective. Use the multi-view feature and customize the stream with up to 4 angles. Control what points you see while earning rewards. Drops are activated and lucky winners will receive Faceit points. And if you ever miss a match, VODs are now available. Get instant access to demos with multiple POVs and commentary. Watch it, control it, Faceit.
Damn, guys, we almost had this.
Thank God it's over.
Bored of endless matchmaking? Take your first step towards ECL, experiencing real strategies against teams of your skill. Learn more at fce.gg/ECL.
Welcome everybody to ESL Challenger League Season 49 in the South American region. I'm your host slash caster slash a jack of all trades in some sort of senses when we have these casts. John joining with me today. Excited to get into this one, John. I mean, ODDIK versus Bounty Hunters. Two teams that are kind of fighting for relevancy within South America, and yeah. I think that this kind of mid-tier fight is one of those slugfests that could bring some very entertaining Counter-Strike.
For sure. And I think something in South America that's always the case is you never know what you're going to get. You can find these matches where you have a team that seems like they're completely going to get blown out of the water, and then it ends up going to triple overtime or something. So, I mean, that unpredictability makes South America exciting at all moments. ODDIK, in particular, has been, you know, a hot team in some ways. In other respects, you have these matches where they get really, really cold. So, kind of hoping we get the hotter ODDIK. They are technically at the top of Challenger League right now with a 10-4 record, but, I mean, both teams are fighting for different things. Bounty Hunters are at 4-10 at the opposite end of the spectrum, and they're trying to, you know, keep themselves in the running, whereas ODDIK are looking to take that #1 seed right now.
Yeah, let's take a look at those standings. This is the schedule that we have today. Just the sole game on the mainstream. We'll have North American Counter-Strike to come along as well. But it's a good point that you bring up, John, that ODDIK are at the top of the table. And it's up against some pretty fierce competition, I'd like to think. No Legacy, obviously, them being in North America. But Fluxo have been solid. Sharks have shown signs of life. Bestia also in that conversation. So there is obviously a lot to like about what the ECL field looks like, but I mean, for ODDIK, if they can hold on and have a great top seed, things would look mighty fine for them moving forward. And I mean, we also got to talk about the elephant in the room. You know, the SA MRQ is around the corner, and they would like to be in that conversation and attend that event, because if they lose a couple of matches to lower ranked teams, things like that can quickly fall out of fashion. Then they're right at that threshold right now.
Definitely. Yeah, Wikipedia lied to me, so there you go. I was looking at the older standings, a little outdated. A couple of matches did happen since then, but yeah.
Still not bad.
No. I mean, look, ODDIK is still 11-5, doing great. And Bounty Hunters on the other side, they're even further down than I thought. 4-12, and they really do need to win some maps here. And again, this is a two BO1s, guys, that we're going to be playing here. Between these two squads, so it should be interesting. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think if Legacy was here, it could be a lot more interesting, but Fluxo has been interesting for sure. Red Canids as well. I think there's just inconsistency amongst a lot of the South American teams, and Red Canids is another one that comes to mind. But overall, like, the top 5 that you see here is what you would expect, given what's happening in South America right now. And then, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have that much more to say, because it's pretty much expected.
Yeah, I think maybe as far as like power rankings go in my head, I think there would be a different kind of configuration of that top 5. But I think, for the most part, you're exactly right. Everybody there should be there in that kind of situation. And for the Bounty Hunters, when I look at that roster and I look at the players that they've got across the board, I'm kind of expecting a little bit more. I'm not expecting a 4-12 record, to be completely honest with you. I mean, Turtle has had some good moments in his career on MIBR, Byron as well, having time in Bestia as well. Like, there's a lot of pieces here from previous rosters that make me excited, and yet they've still not been able to kind of get it all together. Whereas ODDIK, I mean, you look at their rifle corps and you say, I don't think it's as good. I don't think necessarily there's a standout player. I mean, that being said, Naite, if I had to pick a player, I would pick Naite, and he's our Qiddiya player to watch, because John, I mean, when this guy is on form, when he's running into a bomb site and ripping heads, there's nothing else like it.
Honestly, he's really unbelievable. Yeah, his opening frag stats are through the roof. I mean, if you look just out of that 100 rating, 92 in opening duels over the last 3 months, firepower rating of 91, and an impact. This is the important one, and obviously this comes with the territory of being a great opening fragger, but a 1.38 impact rating. He is absolutely, when he's on his game, because he does have his off games, especially like when he has his off games, that's when the team kind of shows inconsistency, but still, he is the one to watch without a question in my mind.
Yeah, and the weird thing that's going on with ODDIK now is that they've got a couple of roster moves going on. They brought in Terra. I believe they had Case Locks at some point. They brought him back. They brought Marios back as well. It's kind of all over the place at this point, and look, again, they've got to really get their act together as quickly as possible. I mean, they're essentially 2 weeks out from the biggest event of this organization's time, at least since the last MRQ/RMR. So I'm sure they're going to be gearing up for that. So this is going to be a very good litmus test of where this team is at right now, and whether the leadership of a player like Woody is going to get these players in line. Because if I had to go leadership against leadership on both ends of the spectrum, I think I'd favor Woody over Kaiser every day of the week.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Without a question of a doubt, I think Woody is a more established and strong IGL, both in terms of his calling and his play style as well. Well, we'll see what happens in this matchup. Nice shot from Woody, speaking of which, hitting a wicked headshot there. Naite finds Mayern, Case Locks another one, and we'll talk about Case Locks in a bit, but back to the action here. Berninho does manage to get one on to Naite, so back and forth we go, but look at this positioning from Pank. Yeah, he gets a freebie there pretty much, and the bomb at his feet, leaving Berninho in a very tough spot and probably dead. Yeah, eventually he gets one before he falls, but that'll do it. 1-0 for ODDIK. What I was going to say there, Paladin, is that Case Locks, added back to the roster since Terra was demoted to the academy team.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I actually was fine with Terra. I think he had some impact here and there. Maybe it was a temporary thing. But yeah, I guess Togs is no longer on this roster's books, and they will be going with Punk, who I've been watching a little bit more, and I actually was pretty happy with what I saw from him as well. So,
yes.
Honestly, this 5-man unit is one to be very fearful of if you were in South America. I think the chemistry that's built over time with some of these guys is definitely there, and you've had enough time with Punk now when the going gets tough as well.
No, I do agree, honestly, and I've liked what I've seen from Punk as well. It's only been a little while that he's been with the squad, only 21 maps, but everything's looked good. The eye test, he passes that. He's got the stats, 1.17 rating, plus 66 KDD. They're like, everything's looking good on his front. So I understand the decision. It makes sense looking at everything that was coming their way on the ODDIK side. Anyway, looking at this round, ODDIK has 5v3, and it was an investment that came through from the Bounty Hunters, and this is just it's going from bad to worse here.
I mean, look at Naite, man. 3 kills in the round,
Yeah.
playing all around
MP9.
outside. It's just such a nuisance. And this is what you don't want if you're Bounty Hunters, is a hot Naite out the gates. Because this guy is going to tear through you. And not to mention, look at these upgrades. Naite and Matios get all that cash farmed up, and they get the terrorist main rifle. That's a beautiful start for them.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is excellent for ODDIK. Kind of, we didn't really talk about it that much, but I think it was implied that ODDIK are the favorite here, right? Given the results from the Bounty Hunters. They did make a couple of changes. I think it was in January when they signed Turtle and they acquired Zoc from Bestia. Turtle was, I think, was he Fluxo before? I can't remember exactly.
He was with MIBR, but I think he might have been on the he might have been on the bench for a while, and I think he was playing on some mixed teams around the scene as well.
He was actually with ODDIK before that. Excuse me.
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, ODDIK in Global Offensive, then was on the bench or inactive for ODDIK at the beginning of CS2. So yeah, that's
old rivalry then. In that case.
Yeah, a little bit.
Ooh, this is bold. Don't see Woody getting aggressive like this all too often, and as soon as his teammate Mini died, he said, I don't want to deal with this. And now Brunino's hit another one as well. So these Deagles are singing, and it's all about whether ODDIK can put this tune to rest.
Yeah, and I guess to wrap up that point I was making there about those 2 new additions, they didn't change much, unfortunately, at least not yet for the results of the team. I know it's still kind of new last 2 months, but Bounty Hunters haven't been able to find any type of real rhythm over the last little bit. And back to the action here. Woody, with the A1S at Big Box, should be able to deal with most of these players. And there's 3. Mayern does manage to get 1, but Pank gets the immediate trade. So a 2v1. Despite it starting out exciting for the Bounty Hunters, just walked into the wrong angle, and Woody was able to deliver a 3K. Turtle making a lot of noise going back up here, and he has to recover that bomb. This is going to be a very difficult task.
Yeah, it doesn't really have a gun to pick up as well.
Maybe.
Sees an AK there, and at this point, you got 2K in the bank. If you want to just sit and save that, it's not a bad idea. You can go all the way back to CT spawn, but he's going to have a look in.
He kind of has to save it, right?
Yeah, I guess. Or he's got to die and go with the latter option, which, it's not too bad. He'll still get his money. He'll still get a buyout in the next. It's not a big deal. But, yeah, I guess that point that you brought up about case locks, I mean, this guy, I think, statistically did so well on this team previously that I think everybody that's been watching South American Counter-Strike for a while was kind of surprised that they slotted him out on the team. So yeah, I'm glad that he's back, to be honest.
Yeah, and he's already putting up good numbers. Like, he's got, I think, 1.07 rating right now, which is, not working, not blowing down any doors, so to speak, but still, right. I mean, he's doing his job, and Seraterra wasn't exactly statistically doing that well for the squad over his little tenure, 47 maps, so I don't know. I kind of agree with you. Case Locks is a name that you often hear in South America, and that is a player that's strong. So it was a bit of a surprise, and I'm glad to see him back. We'll see what he can do here in this matchup so far. Well, there's a frag for him. His second coming up, and a third as we're talking about him. Okay. He wants to show what he's got. And that'll make it a 4v3 only briefly until it's evened out to a 3-on-3. Matios has a chance here to make a big play, and he actually lets Mayern slip past him. Doesn't realize it either. Maybe he will now, but he's dead. Through the smoke, Brunino manages to take care of him.
And now things get really difficult. Punk's got this very early flank, and he finds Mayern, but can't find Brunino in the smoke. It's all up to Woody with his esteemed AWP. He's going to wait for this smoke to fade. Maybe he can catch a player off guard, but the smoke just will not fade. Finally it does, but at this point, Kaiser can get set into this afterplan. He's even thinking about going all the way around to heaven. But that does leave a 1v1 on the cards here for the IGL. Brunino gives up a shoulder, but the shot is missed. Dink
Oh
is
my
hit
God,
though.
what?
Dink is hit, bringing it into a 1v1, but it's planted for Kaiser at this point. And sure, the low HP is there, but there's just no way that Woody would be expecting his counterpart to be in heaven. And it's a free upgrade for Kaiser as bounty hunters pick up their first.
Yeah, they finally get there first, but my goodness, that engagement with Woody is not the greatest on the other end from the bounty hunters, let's say, because he's got an op, misses the op shot, pulls out the pistol, fires 4 or 5 shots from that USP before getting the frag, and takes 0 damage against an AK. Like, that's just, that's not great for the bounty hunters. But they still win the round, you know, thanks to that great positioning at the end. At the end of it, you still got to think back and say that should have been a little cleaner. We'll see how it affects this round. It will require 4 players to buy it for the bounty hunters, so money's not great for them. They already made it down towards the B site, though. That was a nice drop. Oh, the call-out from Woody makes up for the miss in the previous round with 1 fell swoop, and Pank is going to get a follow-up onto Mayern. 5v2 in favor of ODDIK. Wow.
Some real swagger to Woody all of a sudden. That's a cracker of a shot. Guys are still outside, and they've still got presence in mini. So this outside threat is still available, but with that bomb dropped on the B bomb site, things get a little bit more awkward. Kaiser takes a dink, but still can fight for just a little bit longer. They've got a minute, so they can potentially work around this.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, look, the problem was, like I mentioned before, their money's not great, right? They spent a lot of cash to get back into this round because they lost 4 players. So Bernino does get the frag onto K-Slox, popping his head up like a little gopher. 3v2. Still in favor of ODDIK. And again, I mean, the problem is they don't have the bomb, like you mentioned before. So they're going to have to fight their way back in here, and time is definitely not their friend. That's a good tag from Woody through the wall. I think that's going to push them back. Like, they know Woody's holding the line. Not much time left. Yeah, they're going to save.
Yeah, that's not a line you ever want to cross as far as that is concerned. And they don't even really have any utility. Like, yes, you could probably flash Woody off of one angle, but then he can just hold another. Like, it's just not possible. So, wise save here from the bounty hunters. And it's a nice idea to get down the vents that early and just go for it. I mean, it's just truly unfortunate that they had to line up in the way that they did. And Woody just ends it before anything can really get off the ground. So ODDIK bounced right back, and with how many casualties were taken in that first round victory for the bounty hunters, they're already back against a corner here, and they just have to play around these saved guns.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the loss bonus 2,900, I would expect at least a little bit of an investment from those pistol players, but they're actually pretty conservative. I guess they bought the armor, so that's something, but and a pistol upgrade from Aaron. Yeah, you're right. So I guess they can try for that. The problem is Naite is getting pretty aggressive, and I think he's already past the angle that Kaiser is holding here. So that is a bit of a problem for the bounty hunters. There's K-Slox connecting on the first, and yeah, this is not great for the bounty hunters in terms of map control because of how far Naite is up there towards that red box. They don't really have many places to go.
Yeah, they're hoping Kaiser can find something. Turtle does bait out a shot. This alerts Kaiser from the top of the marshmallow, but Naite will still find his impact.
Jeez.
That's awesome. Kaiser wants nothing to do with it. He drops back down, and I believe your player in Squeak Door has heard everything at this point. So the jig should be up, and they should be getting crunched from all avenues. Kaiser's been spotted. Woody's hit his shot as well, and it's all up to the captain. He's going to turn around, knife in hand, and he's taken out momentarily. It's a little awkward, but there it is. K-Slox will find his man, and they won't go for double ops, but hey, they've recovered 2 AKs. They'll be happy.
Oh yeah, that's even better, I would say, because, you know, we don't necessarily need that double op on Nuke. You just have him posted up either in ramp or outside. Maybe you can run ramp and outside with the op, but you do want that mobility of the rifles, I would say, especially because there's a lot of rotations. There's a lot of ground to cover oftentimes in those rotations on the CT side. So good to have the rifles, and that's the choice that they make. Timeout going to be called by the bounty hunters to talk things over. I mean, they were going for an eco in that previous round, so it should be a buy up here, and it absolutely is. 3 AKs, the MAC-10 and the Galil. On the other side, like you said, I mean, ODDIK having 2 AKs is fantastic for them, especially the way things are flowing for them at this point. Even in that one round that the Bounty Hunters won, it wasn't clean. There were some issues there, and I don't know if you're going to be feeling very good if you're on the Bounty Hunters right now, but at the same time, it's Nuke, so if you can get your T side going even just a little bit, get 3-4 rounds, you'll be better poised to come back into it on CT side.
Yeah, I'm just not necessarily sure what their win conditions are right now. Their outside control only really kicks into gear in the late round, and that isn't really that effective. You tried getting down lower a couple of times, and they're going to try to see if that can do the damage. They're going to kick open the smoke, and Case-Lock sees a body, but doesn't take the shot. They're going to allow the cross to come through as Woody goes 1-for-1 with Myron. Myron's actually stuck outside at this point, so he's going to have to back away slowly, and they've actually killed the lower player, so there's legs to this now. But with Myron going down, they know what's coming. They know that it's this B bomb site, and it's all about trying to retake.
Yeah. I mean, last time Woody was very strong with the op, and they're going to smoke him off. They know the angle he's holding, so that's a good move. This should yield a bomb plant. Problem is they may have overlooked Matios. Yeah, Matios coming up here. There's one for him. Headshot onto Turtle. Now he's starting to throw that utility in. Incendiary forces Zoc to go towards observation. Kaiser pushes up right up against that smoke, so it should be a good play. But now Woody, what a shot onto Zoc. Matios gets the last on Kaiser, and that'll do it for the round. ODDIK playing it very well to get a 6-round victory.
I gotta credit Woody there for not jumping the gun, right? I mean, even though he gets those 2 kills, it's great in that sense, but just living for as long as he does, never giving away that aggressive ramp angle for the Ts. And if he dies there, it just gets really awkward for the CTs to retake. So credit to him, and credit for Matios taking matters into his own hands. As soon as he kills Myron, he's going to fill that void. He's going to go charging into that B bomb site from the secret stairs. And the Bounty Hunters have no response. They're on max loss bonus, so they're going to keep buying now that they've got these bomb plants. But again, this lower bomb site is not netting the positive effects that they would be hoping.
No, definitely not. That's a tough one for the Bounty Hunters. I thought they played it pretty well, too. I mean, the util was on point. Everything was good. Movement was great. I even would argue that positioning was good, too. It's just a ridiculous shot from Woody that turns the tables. Right here, we've got a 3-on-3 scenario, a bit of an exchange in the outside yard, but looks like on the worst end of it is Mayer, and he's down to 10 HP, so that gives the advantage to ODDIK pretty decisively in terms of health, but looking at the map, Bounty Hunters, they're kind of bottled up in lobby, and I say that because Case-Locks is coming around from the flank. He's going to make life exceptionally difficult for them, and this is what ODDIK's been doing the entire time this half. They've been getting aggressive, they've been getting mobile, and really making it difficult for the Bounty Hunters to get anything done. Yeah, he's just waiting, biding his time. There's the bomb, and Case-Locks will back off here. He knows he's got them.
Now Myron's just paranoid. He's trying to deal with this problem as quickly as possible, and he's going to go all the way through T-Roof. Case-Locks should be aware that this is a possibility, but he doesn't switch around fast enough. So Myron will find one more into the 1v3 in total, but Ponk has made his rotation through, and he'll find his man. 7 rounds the good for ODDIK, and they just continue to compound these rounds. And it's, again, as you mentioned, just the constant active play outside. Or even if just going downstairs with those like early flanks in the rotation of the B bomb site, they're shutting down every avenue before anything can spiral out of control, and that to me shows, a lot of confidence and chemistry between these players straight away.
No, absolutely,
it's hard to do.
No question. And I mean, Pank as well, playing exceptionally well here in this map, right? 8-1. We talked about him being a player that's kind of impressed us since he was added to the roster, and he continues to do so. A little bit of team damage there, but it doesn't matter. It was the flashbang that did it. Naite and Case-Locks get a couple of frags, and the Tech-9s did manage to slip to release one of them in through the vents. That's the bomb. Maybe Kaiser gets a plant off here. I don't know. I mean, Pank's playing upper, so that's... yeah.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, I can see what Kaiser's seeing in the game. They're getting so many chances on this lower bomb site that they're thinking, maybe if we can just get the bomb down once more and play the post, something will go in our way. But, I mean, eventually you're going to run out of rounds, and you've got to find another answer elsewhere before this half just ends. So Kaiser will come back up the stairs, try to join hands with Myron here. And again, nobody's really facing, and instead it's just damage from the fall. Naite hears all of that, capitalizes, and leaves Kaiser alone in a 1v5. Any damage is good damage, as I always say, but of course, there is no damage to be had because he can't find a body to shoot at.
Yeah. I mean, he eventually will. I would imagine he wants to because he doesn't want to die after time with a Tech 9 in armor. There's more loss bonus coming through with being at 3,400. So he's going to break that window. Pank likely going to spot him. Maybe he gets the frag on Pank and a bomb plant. Almost. Yeah, that was a headshot onto Pank, but doesn't survive the counter. And that will be an 8th round victory coming through from ODDIK. Here comes the buyout for Bounty Hunters again, but they are quickly running out of rounds.
Yeah, and this is like the main issue I'd say for a captain like Kaiser is I don't think he's got a plan B or a plan C. Like, I don't think he's developed that in his captaincy yet. And I think that takes a lot of time, and I think that takes a lot of really bad maps. But
That's true.
it's not happened. It's not really come together for him on the T side. They're still very heavily reliant on playing the defenses out, but it's just the offense is too slow. And even if it's slow, you can have a slow T side, but you've got to be like having a feeler out on a specific part of the map, always doing something. And sometimes I feel like they're not doing anything for like 20 to 30 seconds at a time. And you just can't do that on Nuke. And you can see the results, right? Where you've got, Matios on a fast flank. You've got Naite in your face on red. You've got, Case Locks pushing into lobby from outside. Like, it's hard. Like, you've got to be doing something constantly.
Absolutely. And you have to take that space aggressively, especially on the T side, because it quickly disappears, especially when, the playstyle is coming. The playstyle that ODDIK is deploying here is in your face. And, you see ODDIK already have Naite towards that red box, which he's been doing round after round. So you'd think Bounty Hunters would expect it. I'm sure they are. It's just difficult to kind of figure out where he wants to deploy himself. Turtle's not waiting for the push. This is the right idea. He gets cleared and does manage to get the frag, even though Naite rattled off a couple of shots. Nade's going to sail through, does a little bit of damage to Mayern, but finally the Bounty Hunters have a 5v4 edge to work with here as a flashbang bounces right into the eyes of Zop. He'll have a peek around this corner, knows that someone's on this angle now. Pank a little bit exposed, very exposed now, drops down, takes a fight, has to retreat, and he will. You couldn't play it better, honestly, if you're a ramp player in that situation. Speaking of playing it better, Turtle could have, as Case Locks blindsides him. Bernino does manage to get the trade, and this is the B site taken. This is the last time Bounty Hunters were able to get something done was on this B site, but unfortunately for them, they're losing the bodies. Kaiser, last one standing, 2v1, and he's out in the open. Tries to fade away a little bit and knows what the last two players are, so it's still winnable for him. There's the hedge onto Woody. He can't get the last onto Case Locks, though, who finds himself a 3-piece.
That was beautiful. Beautiful there from Case Locks to kind of thread the needle there. Nearly looked red-faced with Woody on a couple of missed shots, but overall, just more active gameplay. The confidence there to swing into control, and it's like a split-second decision. They see that Molotov sail into the double doors, and they realize, hey, we've got to go right now. And if we don't make this split-second decision and go through this, we're screwed, because that's where the T player gets very settled into that control position, and he knocks both of those players off their perch. So that instant connection to move through and trade instantaneously is what wins them the round. And that's another one of those situations where the Bounty Hunters are saying, we just got to get the bomb down and we'll win the post plant. But I mean, these post plants are barely even happening, right? I mean, you're seeing like 5 to 10 seconds of the bomb being shaved off before the round's just instantly over. These Ts can't get settled into lower, and it's really difficult.
Yeah, a small technical pause coming in here, guys. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I agree with you. It's not great for the Bounty Hunters. Like those last two times, like you were mentioning, they were on the B site. They had an advantage for a moment. The bomb was planted. It was a post plant, but it didn't last long because ODDIK just cleared out everyone almost instantaneously, and that was, again, the case there. So need to be a little stronger on the post plant holds, maybe get into that positioning sooner. But I say that, but I mean, what do you do when ODDIK's really just barreling down on you? I guess maybe a little more patience and waiting for ODDIK to make the mistakes first, which is what they tried to do at the beginning of that round with Turtle waiting in the cubby at outside yard. And they did yield a frag out of it and get the advantage, but afterwards, ODDIK just scrambled around the map and got into advantageous positions before the Bounty Hunters could really do anything about it. So what can you say? I mean, there's definitely a bit of a skill gap right now between these two squads.
Yeah, I think you're kind of onto something there with the lurks not finding enough impact, I'd say, and I think that's the best way to get out of this situation is if you can have that late linchpin, you got to make ODDIK feel nervous about a retake. They don't feel nervous in these kind of situations, right? They're not looking behind them. They're not looking at 90 degrees in any sort of situation because they know that we've dealt with the lurk threat before the retake even happens. So in that kind of a situation, I think you've got to be a little bit more patient if your players like Turtle in any kind of case like that. And look at that, man. I think the flash hit Zoc, and I think he just burned Hunter to 0. That's brutal.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, he was standing there for a while. I agree with you. It had to be in a flashbang that hit him. Turtle as well. I mean, they were in a similar spot. Turtle was maybe a little more on the edge of the Molotov than Zoc was, but that's not great. And it doesn't help your confidence when your scoreline is what it is for Zoc. Let's just say that.
I mean, we've avoided the conversation for a bit, but it's a sore spot for sure.
Yeah. I won't harp on it, though. You know, everyone has their bad map, and it is what it is. 5v4 in favor of ODDIK. I want to say that's not the reason why Bounty Hunters are struggling so much. Like, it's as a unit, they are not playing as well as ODDIK are, and I think that's why we're seeing the difference here. Pank's going to get one onto Turtle, and this is just a slaughter in this round. Absolutely manhandling the Bounty Hunters, Kaiser, last one standing.
You know, that conversation of good damage doesn't really exist when you're getting battered every round, right? I mean, one round left in the half, and you've got K-Slox and Matios nearing the max cash limit. And this is just pristine work here from ODDIK, and why they're in the MRQ conversation right now, to put it completely bluntly. And why Bounty Hunters isn't. It's night and day in a lot of ways. So it's a wake-up call of sorts for the T side, but maybe an upper pop, something fast. I've not seen really a quicker up-tempo round upstairs yet, but they're still going to stick to that tried-and-true default, I suppose.
Yeah, it seems like it. Naite is going to get the spray to... Oh my god. I mean, that's just got to be devastating with Bounty Hunters. Naite gets another 2. They can't get past him. They do get past Pank, although it costs Bernino a lot of health. Tosses that nade forward. And that'll keep Woody at bay. They still have K-Slox towards B, but nice headshot from Kaiser. The problem is he loses a teammate on the other side in Bernino. Now Naite's lurking around over towards observation, and a little messy on the spray, but he gets him. Mayer comes back and gets 2, though. We've got ourselves a 1v1 here. Bounty Hunters desperately trying to get at least one more round out of this half.
Looks like Mayer wants to potentially just clear out everything around the B bomb site and basically single out where Woody's gone off to. I believe he opens up the door there. Yeah, he does. Makes it back over to double. Makes so much noise here. Surely at this point, Woody should hear these footsteps, but he's still completely expecting maybe he goes back to that A bomb site. Myron won't overcomplicate the situation, though. He punches the digits in, puts the pressure back onto the CT, and he'll make his way back over to the vent. Is he aware of the rotation? No, just slightly off the timing. Considering maybe the rotation was from Secret, and Woody will find the 11th round. Bounty Hunters can do nothing right at this point, and ODDIK are knocking on the door of a quick 1-0 start.
You feel like something new. You feel like something. You feel like something.
A brutalization of the Bounty Hunters as we switch over to the second half here between Bounty Hunters and ODDIK. I am Paladin, joined by JRT on the mic. And we might have ourselves a very quick first map here on the mainstream. It's a ramp rush being called from Woody straight into this two-man setup, and Marios has already found one, Punk with the other. This ramp hold has completely disintegrated, and sure, you've got rotations downstairs, but they're getting pinched and picked apart. Myron will hit the deck. Turtle with those dual Berettas can't get anything involved. Finally chimes in with one. A consolatory frag, and they offer him a couple more, and the spray is huge from the Turtle. And now he's crawling up to a potential 1v4. Naite breathing down his neck in the control room. Finds him out. And now, both players knowing where they've gone off to, but it's all a question about connecting those dots. Glass is broken, so if Naite wants to move through, he can. But he's really playing into Turtle's hands. He's saying, let him make the first move, especially considering the door swung open and the bomb right at the doorstep. Turtle, though, considering that a potential A rotation could come through.
Why? That's so weird. He knows the bomb is there. No, he's just waiting here, I think, in the vents,
just in
right?
case.
Yeah. So, anyway, Naite... Oh, actually, well, we'll see. Naite closes the door, trying to bait out a peek from Turtle. He hasn't planted the bomb in. He does have time, 27 seconds, so he can play around a little bit, hope that the mind games work out. And is he going to run all the way to A? I don't even think he has time. Yeah, there's no time. So... now he's going to fake the plant. He's going to draw Turtle out. Turtle opens the doors. Doesn't peek around. Wow. The patience from Turtle in this 1v1 is crazy. He is now on for the ace. Bomb going to get planted here by Naite. Can he escape here? He does. Can he hit the shots? Runs out of bullets, says Turtle. He didn't reload that whole time. And Naite is going to win the duel. Oh my goodness. Turtle almost the hero. But he falls short by one.
Dude. I mean, he played everything in that situation pretty much as perfectly as you could ask for.
Except
and it's like
not reloading.
Yeah, you're going to say hindsight's 20/20 there, and he should have reloaded, but I think in his mind, he's like, I don't want
doesn't want to give away,
any sort of sound cue given over, and I want Naite to overthink it, but I just feel like whenever you're in such a lead like this, the decisions always seem to be right for the team ahead, and Naite just gets that little bit of an edge. And of course you're going to force buy in this kind of a situation. Scout on Kaiser, the only real control that they can have outside. They're going to nade open that smoke, but they can only do it the once and they see nobody. So already starved of information are the CTs.
Jeez, that's just heartbreaking for Turtle, honestly, because, I mean, you're right. He played everything absolutely perfectly aside from just not getting that reload off, but I also understand the logic behind not going for it. It's just there was so much time. Maybe there was a moment. But, yeah, Naite gets the edge on him as Turtle runs out of bullets, and after all is said and done, it's just going to be a moot point, honestly, in a match that has been very one-sided in favor of ODDIK. ODDIK trying to seal the deal now. There's a nice flashbang. Turtle can't see anything. Pank going to drop Bernino. It's all seeming to come to an end right here. Kaiser, last one, and there he falls. 13-1 for ODDIK. Their best victory on Nuke over the last 3 months. And, I mean, it continues their win streak. They had 4 wins in a row coming to this. Now they have a 5-game win streak on the map.
I mean, look at that. 3 players with 100 ADR or more. You've got 2 players encroaching upon 90 ADR. That is just everything you could ask for as far as Woody is concerned. And I mean, I'm always going to bring up the conversation. I mean, this is the perfect time to be peaking as a roster when you think about what's around the horizon. And yes, it's against lesser competition against the likes of somebody like the Bounty Hunters. But, I mean, just having this kind of confidence right now will be making them grin from ear to ear, especially moving into this next map of Inferno later on.
Yeah, no question. I mean, going to be interesting to see how we go from this to Inferno. I mean, Inferno's a map that bounty hunters have not really played over the last 3 maps, last 3 months at all. So you got that, and on the other side, ODDIK only 3 times, like I mentioned. So I don't know. Player to watch though with Naite, he did really well. I mean, look, we already talked about it. 3 players above ADR of 100, 124 ADR for him, 14 frags. Everyone though on ODDIK was performing.
I mean, it just the amount of impact that he would have outside in terms of the amount of space he would take and just control and information. It is absolutely massive. And I mean, you talk about some of the best players in the world when you talk about like your Nikos, your Donks, and you talk about how much impact that they have, especially on a map like Nuke. What role do they have? Outside. And so in that kind of vein, Nate Naite is also in that conversation of a strong, impactful player outside, bringing his team to the victory. But all that being said, we're going to take a little bit of a break, about 10 minutes, and when we come back, we'll have that second map in this best-of-1 series between Bounty Hunters and ODDIK. You don't want to miss it.
Don't just stop it, doing what you do. When I lay back, holding on to you. Feel like something new, yeah. Got my senses here on overload. All my body is for you to hold. Feel like something new. find the jeans from a previous day. Grab the keys from off the counter, commuting to the city, gonna take another hour. Man, I hate trading time for a way. At least I got a home and a job that pays. Faded from color, reaching to find when I wonder how. Saying it'll all be fine, while you sit around and waste your time. Faded from color, stuck in the backseat and told to drive.
Well, thank you very much, Johnson. I've been very lucky down here. Feeling better than I did up north.
Collars itching, faces switching, another cup of joe and I'm fine. Come 5, I can burn a fresh dime. Lifting up the burdens, putting weight on my mind. Bet if I didn't chase that and embrace distractions, master my lack of faith and break through. Faded from color, reaching to find where I wonder how. Saying it'll all be fine, while you sit around and waste your time. Faded from color, stuck in the backseat and told to drive. I'm holding out as I fight. I feel my colors wash away. I'm finding my ground in the light of the hours I can claim. 'Cause in time I restore my complexion and find that I left my distractions behind. In the meantime, I'll blindfold my pride and keep hold of my time like it's gold. Faded from color, reaching to find where I wonder how. Saying it'll all be fine, while you sit around and waste your time. Faded from color, stuck in the backseat and told to drive.
Welcome back, everybody, to ECL Season 49 here in South America. It's our second map in our Best of One series between Bounty Hunters and ODDIK, and it is Paladin joined by John here to take us through this. And honestly, I feel like with how that first map started out, I'm not too excited for this one if I was a Bounty Hunters fan.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's going to be a little bit rough for the Bounty Hunters, I would expect, going onto this map. Perhaps bad to worse, because look, Nuke is a map that didn't necessarily play well on, but they did play it. They had some experience on it. Things were going a little bit better as of late. I think they'd won 2 of the last 4 until what just happened, a 13-1 drubbing at the hands of ODDIK. And well, ODDIK was already doing well on Nuke, so it was kind of the expected result in that regard. Now we go on to Inferno. 2-game win streak for ODDIK here. They beat Aldal Yomigos, and 2-game 13-11 and 13-7. Not crazy score lines, but fact of the matter is they're going up against the Bounty Hunter squad that doesn't play this map at all. So that's the concern as we end up here, and you're going to see how we got to this point. And I don't know, man. I'm not feeling good for the Bounty Hunters. There's always a chance, I would say, but the way that first map went, like you said, doesn't bode well.
Yeah, I think there was something in the back of the Bounty Hunter's mind that maybe they could go to Ancient, but ODDIK take that off the table, and I don't blame them. I think as far as mid-tier South American opposition goes on a map like Ancient, they play it pretty puggy. From what I've seen, like, they played a lot more up-tempo. I think they treat it a lot more like a Mirage does too. And I think you want to neutralize that option. I think you want to stay away from chaos. And on a map like Inferno, I think they can play with the qualities of the game to their speed. I mean, they can control the pace of the game very well. And I mean, you already talk about the chemistry between the 5 of these players on ODDIK. And I would take that chemistry not even 9. I'd take it 10 times out of 10 in comparison to what I saw from the Bounty Hunters. So it's going to be a real tall task here for Kaiser to kind of get his players in line here, especially after some of those rounds lost on Nuke.
Yeah, I think we saw some individual efforts from Mayer and Turtle, right? And on a couple of occasions where things were going well, but they were always, as I mentioned, individual efforts. It was never really the team coming together and making something happen versus on the other side, ODDIK were a unit, a force to be reckoned with. Zoc going to get a trade back here after ODDIK at the opening frag. 4v4, and Bounty Hunters have managed to build themselves up here towards top of Banana. Do they have any util? They do. They have quite a bit. Smoke, a Molotov, 2 nades, and a flash. They're going to have to deploy those effectively up against what is, I think, 0 util left. Well, there's a flash, excuse me, for Pankin. Now they're going to come in, and Case-Lock's got the dualies. He's taking care of business. Matios as well. This is, well, continuing to be ODDIK on the board.
I mean, mid-range dually fights are not the easiest to take.
Yeah.
Like, if you're playing first orange, maybe it's a little easier, but Case-Lock's made those 2 kills look very easy, so credit to him. Even just finding 1 off that pool kill would have been enough, but does a lot of great work there. And ODDIK not falling for the bait after the pause from the bounty hunters once that smoke goes up. They actually called a bluff pretty instantaneously and pulled that 3rd player over, so it was going to be their round no matter which way you cut it. And now the T-side have got to go for the full eco. They don't get really any headway. So you've just got that solitary deagle from Zoc, who I believe has more kills than he had on Nuke.
Did he get a frag on Nuke? We didn't really track
I
that,
gotta
right?
check. I gotta check. Hold on. Yeah, he was killless. So he had a .03 rating. So
do we really have to? Okay.
I've never seen a rating like that in my life, so I had to bring that up.
I can't blame you for sure. Yeah, well, it's at least gonna be. Hey, he's got 2 now, so that's something. And Bernino managed to connect on Case-Locks, and he picks up the M4. He could win this round here. Bernino, they're pressuring him. Pank and Woody have the MP9s. Oh, that shot's gonna be the difference maker. Yep, threading the needle. I think it was Pank on the headshot, and then he finished the job. 2-0. But again, you know, like, that was exciting for the bounty hunters, but just an individual effort from Bernino, right? He pops out, he gets 1, picks up the M4, and starts to do some damage. But outside of that, you know, they couldn't really bring the pieces together to really punish ODDIK on what was a bit of a sloppy play.
Right, objectively, the game plan was not anything to celebrate. It does come down to a singular player breaking through that mold. But the guns come out now, and we'll see what that initial plan is from Kaiser and what he has to play around with here. Straight away top card control, and T-side want to go fighting, and Total gives up a little bit of an early sound cue. Naite is there, and Naite will double down alongside his sitemate. No trade potential available, and that early gambit from the bounty hunters do not pay at all.
Yeah, and now they're all spread out across the map in one-and-done situations at most, and, well, 0 and done for Bernino, unfortunately, as Matios is going to drop him. Zoc, who has had his reawakening here on Inferno. Looking for a 3rd and perhaps an impact on this round. He will get that 3rd, but unfortunately for him, he takes a lot of damage in finding it. So he drops down off that balcony, throws the smoke for Moto, taps a shot in the direction of Case-Locks, and I mean, obviously he's trying to make amends for that previous map, no question, but it's still going to be a tough task. He's got control of A, but the bomb is all the way over at bottom banana, so it's already going to take at least 10 seconds to get to this A site, but it's not going to be an easy path because you got Woody and Case-Locks, and now Pank watching. Case-Locks gets one onto Zoc, and Woody finishes off Kaiser. There were just too many bodies in their way to try and make something happen there.
Yeah, I like the idea that they're trying to split into that A bomb site, but again, just so many bodies bled before that initial game plan that you can't do that. I mean, it's hard enough to breach that A bomb site with 5 players when you're trying to break down all those crossfires that you've got on, you know, from pit to site to arches. It's even harder to do it with 3 players, so truly unfortunate situation for them there. Just trying to make the best out of a bad situation. They don't find any sort of damage. Instant timeout being called. And right now, it's a 16-1 run for ODDIK across the series. So can't really paint any pretty pictures here.
Not really at all. I'm trying to see how many rounds in a row it is at this point. We've got, was it 5, 10, 13? Yeah, 13 rounds in a row at this point for ODDIK, going back to the previous map. It's pretty nice for them. Bounty Hunters, look, they've got the Tech 9s here. Maybe they're going to make a fast play and it'll work out, but those nades aren't going to make their life very good at this point, although it doesn't do as much damage as you'd expect. Only Turtle going down to below half health. Everyone else pretty healthy. Naite Peeks around, sees a body, doesn't connect on the shots, and bounty hunters are readjusting. I think they wanted to go for a quick pop towards the B site, but it doesn't really work out, so they readjust themselves towards A.
Ooh, and they just catch the fade as well. They're going to go straight into Mattios' crosshairs. Brunino finds one trade, but, I mean, look at this absolute domination on the brackets. 3 players to greet them straight away. Everywhere you go, bounty hunters seemingly walk into a stack, and I mean, this is just the nightmare situation when you play on Inferno on the T side. It feels like you're playing against 6 players when rotations are this efficient.
It's, yeah, truly ridiculous. It feels like there's just no way to get past, and you gotta, I mean, it's tough. It's tough for the bounty hunters, let's say, coming through here, because they're really unable to find anything in either direction of this map, whether it be on Nuke or Inferno. And I mean, look, what do you do? What do you do there? Kai's just trying to get everything set up, util out, and Naite runs right into him. And I think this is another problem for the bounty hunters is now, you know, ODDIK's got a ton of confidence. They're just taking the aggressive fights. And even when bounty hunters are trying to play a little slow and get things going and set up a proper execute, they can't.
That's got to be punished, man. That's got to be punished to play ahead of that util like that, and it just doesn't. But hey, Zoc is doing work to Case Locks on the other end, and that is something to write home about. Woody, don't think he necessarily wanted to make that jump, but he'll throw down an incendiary to get him out of dodge. And they'll reset the situation. Still 3 players on this A bomb site, and still Naite will continue to puff his chest over on that B bomb site. Bounty hunters have never called the bluff on that end, so until they figure that out, this bracket side is still going to feel healthy, and finally they're considering it. They've gotten themselves brackets. They're starting to starve the CTs of information, and now it might be their opportunity at cracking through here on Inferno. They're going to wait for this smoke to fade, or maybe they just might pop it open. But Naite really has his work cut out for him.
Yeah, I mean, 23 seconds left. There is an incendiary for Pank, but he's not in a position to throw it, so he leaves Naite to his own devices, and Naite will only do a little bit of damage. Pank might not be expected. Here he's not, so there's a headshot onto Turtle. There's the smoke a little late to save Turtle's life, and Woody finds Bernino from the other angle. They brought this back 3v2 advantage in favor of ODDIK. Mayern and Zoc hanging on for dear life, and Mayern misses the shot. He gets tagged instead. Oh my goodness, now they know where he is. Zoc, this is just ridiculous. Woody gets the last 2 at 3K for him on the round. I thought Zoc might have a chance, but Woody just flies, I don't want to say flies to smoke, he crouches through the smoke, seemingly with a radar on his head, looking where Zoc was, and then goes for the last on the B side, excuse me. Just really well done.
The Woody spam is so ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a player in Church that has been dealt with and seemingly should be dead through spam, but the guardian angel from deep CT spawn to get you the kill back and keep that player alive was absolutely immense. And they make a 3v2 retake look simple on that B bomb site. And even if it's a man advantage, it's still a hard thing to do, I feel like, on this map. And now again, the bounty hunters want to get aggressive in Banana, but there's 3 players starting out here initially, John, and Bonk is here for the 2-for-1.
I mean,
so much util.
Look, they're going to get the trade back, so it's 3v3, but you got to expect that if you're bounty hunters, that they're going to stack the top Banana. It's very common for the CTs to send 3 players there at the beginning, get a ton of util toss, and then fade off a little bit, or just take the fights, and, well, they just took the fights. There's Woody finding Kaiser, so now a 3v2 in favor of ODDIK. The bomb is down towards bottom Banana, but I don't believe that was spotted by ODDIK, so maybe a little bit of an edge for the bounty hunters. Bernino, you gotta hit those! You gotta hit those shots, my friend. Mattios turns on him and will get the frag. Zoc, the last one standing in a 1v3. Moving in, looking for targets. Didn't expect this to be the situation given the way things started out, but so it is. And he will not be able to finish off Case Lock. 6-0 for ODDIK, who just can't seem to lose rounds, it seems.
I mean, they're finding... I mean, now it's even worse, right? Because you're finding players alone, and you just can't kill the one player that's on the bomb site. The rotation's miles away. I mean, this feels like some of the pugs I play on this map, man. I'll tell you what. Like, I feel like I go up brackets, I see 3 players. I go up car, I see 3 players. It's not fair. It's not fair. That's probably what he's saying. How do I outcall this? And it's hard. It doesn't necessarily even feel like there's a right answer because they're trying so hard to get early car control. They can't do it. They try early brackets control. They can't do it. I mean, eventually you're going to want to call a set piece, but if you have no control, how do you call a set piece?
I mean, yeah, no, I agree. And they were trying to do it 2 rounds in a row at least right there, but they just couldn't because there was just so much going on the other side from ODDIK. And I mean, at a certain point, you have to say, okay, let's just wait out the U till that top banana and hold on while the smokes fade, even though you're probably going to be waiting at least 30 seconds and a little bit more because another smoke will probably come through. But they got to be a little more patient because these quick fights are not going their way ever. Right here, though, is an example of when they maybe shouldn't be too patient with Tech 9s out. They want to go for those fast plays, and I think it could materialize for them here. They just need to bunch up and go and blitz. Like, that's it. Keep it simple because it's nothing else is really working.
They had a smoke up temporarily, but they're going to have to throw a smoke again. Either way, the base of mid is difficult to breach through. They're going to go charging in. Here comes that utility. Instant boost, though, that should potentially deal with this problem. K-Slox finds 2, but Turtle with a couple of his own. That's huge. That puts all the pressure on a Woody. He gets rid of that arch pressure, and Kaiser finally relieves some more pressure building here on this A bomb side. It's all up to Naite. Surely this is the round that the Bounty Hunters convert. And, his body spotted there. Kaiser now pushed to the back of the bomb site. And he's aware. Naite's so aware what the crossfire is at this point. He's just waiting for Zoc to show his face. And eventually he will, but that's such a hard angle to clear if you're the CT side. It's an unlikely round, but the Bounty Hunters get it done.
What I tell you, keep it simple. Go out, throw the bodies at ODDIK, and maybe it'll work. And it does. Like, they send 4 players down lane, 1 lurking around. Well, I wouldn't say lurk, but rotating around from arch side. And they're able to surround the last player standing after they get the trades on the first 2. So I should say last player standing on the A site. And then it goes well for them. You know, they only have to deal with the last one rotating around from B. And Bounty Hunters, there you go. Finally, a round on the board. Again, though, similar to the round they got on Nuke, not necessarily convincing in a lot of ways. So they need that follow-up. Need 2 in a row, which they haven't had for the entire BO2. Kaiser does find the opener here. And a lot of damage done onto Naite, so maybe we're seeing flickers of something materializing here for the Bounty Hunters, Paladin.
Yeah, maybe so, and another one of those times where they finally got themselves a man advantage. Zoc taking control of brackets here, putting a little bit more pressure on this A bomb site, waiting for this smoke to fade. Now he's going to encroach.
I feel like they're not going to clear Pank, man. I feel like they're not going to clear him.
It's just going to be so difficult. I mean, they could still go 1 for 1. It still might not be a bad option, but the trigger discipline from Pank here. He's going to wait until he can spot that second player, and there, finally a second shows. There's 3 lined up, but he finds the third dink as well. Beautiful work there from Pank. Now this double pit setup should work. There's no way they're going to read Barrios here late round. He finds himself 1, can't spot at the head. I thought he spotted it, but he readjusts. It puts it all onto Myron. He's got the AWP, not known to be an opper, but we'll have to get it done either way. Economy in the bin, and he finds the flick, but it's not enough. Naite there in the 1v1. And brutal scenes there for the Bounty Hunters as they just feel red-faced after that one.
Yeah, no question. I mean, oh my god. Like, I could just see it coming a mile away because of the way that smoke was thrown, just the fact that it was covering the edge of the cubby a little bit, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like they're just going to psychologically think this is clear for whatever reason and not look at all, even though you should never assume that cubby is clear because it is one of the most common spots that a CT is going to hold when there's a lot of pressure occurring, and usually you're going to see teams clear that out, but I don't know, something told me they wouldn't and they didn't. Pank almost gets the 3K, but it's enough damage to bring ODDIK back into the round, and after that they just kind of stumble over their own feet. Do the Bounty Hunters getting into that A site and unable to hold on. 7-1 for ODDIK, and I was thinking maybe they're going to, okay, Kaiser gets the opener again onto Naite. Matios takes a ton of damage as well, so maybe they can still make up for that round loss, but that's just one where you've got to be winning, especially the way this BO2 has gone.
Yeah, I mean, again, they've got another 5v4 that they can at least be excited about, but no brackets control and no car control off of that pick as well. So in this kind of case, you just got to be at a standstill, maybe hope for some CTB aggression, something that would happen very often on Nuke, but has yet to really happen here on Inferno. Turtle will finally take some space, though. Try to encroach upon Banana. He'll get himself car control at least, so they're continuing to put on some issues here for the CT side. Smoke deployed by Punk. They'll trade blows in that regard. Oh, the spam. Outlining Punk there. And that'll, I think, essentially just reroute them back to the A side. No rotation comes in, so there's 3 players still strong with 25 seconds left here, John.
That's a phenomenal read from ODDIK to realize, yeah, it's probably just one player doing a bit of a distraction there. Pank plays it patient, doesn't call for the reinforcements. So, yeah, now they've got the reinforced A site up against 5 players. 15 seconds left. Is there an incendiary? There is. I don't know if it's going to make a difference. Probably just the rifles. Well, Woody and Mattios connecting. Now it gets even more difficult. 7 seconds left. They're losing all the bodies. ODDIK with the correct read and the round victory as well. 8-1. The Bounty Hunters, the last 2 rounds, they've looked so good. And this time, they just take too long to execute Paladin. They should have been out there way sooner trying to challenge. I would even argue they should have rotated to that B site and played off of, the smoke that was thrown there by, I can't remember who it was, but either way, they had space gained for the Bounty Hunters, and instead they go for the A play. I think they were hoping that was going to sell it, but it wasn't enough. ODDIK weren't biting at all, and Pank wisely doesn't call for reinforcements. I think that's a difference maker. The comms were excellent for ODDIK.
Yeah, and I think in that situation, yes, the Bounty Hunters took too long, but they also didn't have any utility. It felt like every player on that A site was completely fine and could take every duel that they wished. And at that point, I mean, CTs are going to love that. That's just the nature of Inferno A site altogether. So, yeah, a lot of work to do here, especially with just the utility management as well.
I think we have to also point out, Kaiser's got 3 openers in a row. Like, he's got 3 opening duels won. You've got to be working with that more effectively. Those last 2 rounds really should have been round victories. And I agree with you. Lack of util was also a factor. But if you do have a lack of util, use it on the site instead of faking, right? You need to use it effectively. And I don't know. A little weird. Again, right after the opening frag comes through, 2 from ODDIK. This time, Turtle manages to get the trade to keep the numbers even, but look who's here. It's Pank, waiting for the duel. Pank sees the back, gets the shot. Mattios, in the meantime, takes care of Kaiser, and then a beautiful 2-tap to the head of Zoc. It is all ODDIK all the time. 9-1 in their favor.
I mean, dealing with the chaos so well. They've got these proper protocols in place where, if one angle is given up, they're going to swing off the other. It's fundamental Counter-Strike, but it's done at a pretty high level. And, I mean, it's something that you mentioned on Nuke, John, of just just the classes, the difference in classes between these 2 teams. And it's just second to none right now for ODDIK.
Yeah, you can see the difference between a team that's gelled together. And yes, they've had their... Oh, my God. Oh my God, the util. I mean, look, the first frag does go the Bounty Hunter's way, but the damage from the nades was immense. Naite gets a couple. Woody finishes off Zoc, and now the 2 healthy players are left, so a chance for the Bounty Hunters. And Mayer does manage to cross here. Maybe a bomb plant. Yeah, definitely a bomb plant comes through. So they have site control. Right idea for Kaiser to watch Banana, but now he pulls away from it, and that could be the mistake. He does get one. Okay, no. He turns around. Case Locks wins the duel with him, so now it's Mayern up against Case Locks and Mattios. Oh my goodness. Case Locks will... Actually, Mattios will take care of Mayern, and that will do it. So again, the Bounty Hunters are finding bomb sites. They're finding man advantages for 4 rounds in a row. The rounds are just eluding them, and another 10-1 scoreline to stare down on, and perhaps 11-1 back-to-back leads at the first half for ODDIK coming through.
Yeah, it's another one of those situations where you're thinking, they've got themselves their 2v2, they're favored in the post play on the B bomb site, but even after they get rid of Woody, it's like Woody's just stalling for so long, right? I mean, he's just a nuisance. I mean, he's not hitting shots necessarily. He got a couple, but in that situation, if they can't even deal with him, they're like, screw it. We've got to cross. We've got to get the bomb down. And by the time they've all figured all this out, you've already got a player coming in from Banana. You've got a player coming from Speedway as well. it's pretty much over. And another one of those situations similar to Nuke where the bomb goes down and the round's over in 10 seconds. Like, they're not able to get dug into emo. They're not able to get into new box. It's just not, you don't get those strong post-plant angles that you can really hang your hat on as a T. And that's just credit to ODDIK. It's never letting them feel comfortable in any kind of situation. It's smart CS.
Yeah, they're literally pushing them up against the wall. I don't want to say literally, but they're figuratively pushing them up against the wall because they don't have their hands on them. But either way, it's just they don't let up on that pressure like you were mentioning. And they're looking at the possibility again of finding an 11th round here and repeating what they did on Nuke. Case Locks looking around with the AK. Wants to find that first fight. And at the very least, the Bounty Hunters have won control of Banana in this round. So they're both, all three of them are at the top of Banana now. There's that smoke thrown. Ooh, Woody, that's a pretty big miss. He had a wide open target in Turtle, but can't connect on it. So now gets the information at the very least. Turtle will get the frag onto Woody. Do they expect another player to be here? I would imagine so. There's Nite gone as well. Okay. They have to win this round now, Paladin. It's a 5v3. Full control of the B site. They even have players who are watching out for rotations. This has to be a second.
Unlosable.
Yes.
I'll say it right here. Unlosable. We'll see what they can do. Well, I hope they don't make me eat my words in this kind of a situation. But they'll give their crack at it here, ODDIK. Oh, the spam's good on to Kaiser.
I think that nade's going to be good too.
That nade, yeah. I think it's going to be an incendiary there in this situation. It'll hit the mark, I believe. Yeah, they get rid of the new box player, and Kaiser still stands tall, and that should be enough. There's absolutely no time. They're kissing in the smoke, and it should be at least a second round, a semi-silver lining here for the Bounty Hunters at the half. We'll take a little bit of a break, and we'll see if they can bounce back at all here on Inferno. Perhaps a glimmer of hope here for the Bounty Hunters as they notch one extra round here on Inferno, but the narrative is largely the same. ODDIK are in commanding lead here on Inferno and look to dominate this best-of-1 series. Paladin and John here to take you through this last bit.
I mean, let's be real. Bounty Hunter should have had 5 rounds in that half at a minimum. And I mean, 3 in a row looked so solid for them. They just managed to, in a lot of ways, find a way to lose. So we'll see if they can build off of, like you said, that last round victory where things actually looked pretty solid for them. They got a 5v3 onto the bomb site. It was their best round by far. But now they got to switch sides over to the defensive end. Woody going to look for a fight in towards the A site. This is absolutely an A hit. They do have one player towards B. That's Naite lurking around. Maybe hoping to take a fight and drag some attention over towards that B site before his teammates execute on A. But it feels like they're getting a little reticent to go for A, but the bomb is the last player back, so they need to be careful about how they deploy this.
Yeah, very awkward situation. You've still got this smoke that can be deployed by Meyer to slow things down, force a potential gray screen situation. The bomb has gotten back to brackets. Hasn't shown face just yet, but now Punk will have to take the first engagement. He'll have to duel with Brunino, and he can't win that fight. They'll go back into the B bomb site, into the dual Berettas, and maybe, just maybe, they found their way back in. 3v4 with the bomb plant potentially secured means that Bounty Hunters have a chance at bouncing back, but never say never in a post plant on the B site.
Yeah, especially in pistol round. I mean, this could go either way. Zoc pops out, and he's gone. So is Brunino, and there goes Myron as well. Just like that, in an instant, ODDIK get all 4, don't lose a single player post-plant, and they're on to 11. Yeah, that's just how this has gone for the Bounty Hunters. That round
finally they upped the tempo, right? Like, they finally upped the tempo on the retake, and they go full gray screen everywhere. Every player is watching for it. Nobody's in transition. That's just one of those, like, rounds that you lose, and you're like, okay, then what do I do? Then, like, what do you want me to do? Nothing, I guess.
Yep, it's unfortunate. I mean, they have to buy up here. There's really no choice. They need to fight for rounds. Kaiser's got the Nova. You don't see that very often. 2 MP9s and a 5.7. The 5.7 eats an 8. And then the Molotov sails, and they're just going to go fast into B and hope it works out. Not the greatest call, though, because Mayern's waiting atop boxes there. And gets the opening frag. ODDIK do eventually back off of it, and it looks like they're going to go for bracket control instead, which is probably the right call. Matios gets Zoc. There's Woody finding Bernino, and maybe they'll pincer into B. Who knows what they decide, but they've got all the map control in the world at this point. Matios finding Kaiser, and that's probably the round because they've got full control of this A site. So that's, I mean, what we... Okay. Nice shot from Turtle. What I was going to say was, that's what we've really seen from ODDIK throughout the entirety of, you know, both maps, is their ability to adapt when situations are going a bit awry, right? You see them pushing up towards top banana, they lose that opening duel, and they immediately kind of wrap around towards that A site and don't really try to fight any further. Although Pank was left behind to try and keep people at bay, but it was a good decision, right? Especially knowing that your opponents don't have much. Mayern does manage to get another one, but again, this is just not important here for ODDIK. They're just trying to take fights and do more damage to the Bounty Hunters because they know that they won't have any cash in the next round should they lose these guns.
Yeah, exactly right. And I mean, look, you talk about those adaptations, and that only comes from a core that's been together for a really long time. And I do feel like in the South American scene, at least in this season of Counter-Strike, we've had so many changes, so many topsy-turvy declines in form, especially when I look at like 9Z, as we kind of talked about in our break, and when I talk about like Red Canids as well, they're not necessarily in that conversation. There's a sort of confidence and excitement about ODDIK because they've kept these players together, and you see the kind of proof in the pudding here when you bring Case Locks back in, when you have Matios in the lineup. It's just like they're all fitting right together. Every puzzle piece clicks right into place.
No question. I mean, they had a little bit of a rough patch, I think mid-March, but outside of that, it's been pretty rosy for them, honestly. And like you said, it's just because of that chemistry, because they've built it up over a decent period of time. Naite, well, he's been a great entry for them, and you're seeing it again there onto Turtle. 5v4 in favor of ODDIK. I mean, they have wasted no time here taking care of the bounty hunters. And again, well, they will lose a player on the other side. That's Case-Lox, but you see they're not overcommitting to that fight. Case-Lox kind of left to his own devices, which isn't great for him, but it gives ODDIK a chance to get a read on the situation.
The planted Naite all the way here at top car has an opportunity to potentially punish someone if they want to go for some mid-round aggression. But brackets will still be confirmed by ODDIK. They do not care about that aggression that came from the defensive end. And look at this, man. Naite got a player on a silver platter, but Myron, great awareness there to clear it out. But the jig is up. It's all up to Kaiser here. 1v3 essentially on the bomb site, and he doesn't find anything. So the bomb should go down. 3v3 post plan. This is going to be a toughie, and they can't even get past the first test. Punk, man. So much work done, and he spotted out both of these players. Zoc lives on 1 HP, and this should be the end of Inferno. A late-ditch effort coming through that smoke, and Marioso will put the final nail in the coffin. Another destroying affair here from ODDIK as they just trounce through the bounty hunters.
Absolutely ridiculous how good ODDIK were throughout both maps. What was it, 26-3 in terms of rounds? Insane. Like, they were just a nightmare for bounty hunters to deal with. And you saw, I mean, on the T side, when things went wrong on the first effort, there really was no second effort from the bounty hunters because, well, either they just decided to commit fully, or when they did try to readjust, ODDIK were right there in their faces, putting pressure on them on the flanks on both maps, on both Nuke and Inferno. So there wasn't really much for them to do. They had to make an adaptation and try to have more effectiveness from their lurks, or just watch their flanks more appropriately, have more patience. I mean, there were lots of things that could have happened there, but it just wasn't. On the other side, ODDIK were, as they usually are, a strong unit, and very difficult for the bounty hunters to get past on both sides of the map. Yeah,
not necessarily a eye-popping game from Naite, but you can definitely feel the impact from this guy throughout this series, where he just has so much aggression to him, and when Woody can leave him off the leash, he has a lot of potency in his game, and I'm excited to see more of this guy as he continues to evolve and adapt to a lot of circumstances. And yeah, for ODDIK, things are looking really good at a very great time for them as of right now. And for bounty hunters, it's time to look forward to the offseason potentially, because I think changes need to be done in this team. But what those changes are, when it'll happen, we have no idea. That's going to do it here on the mainstream for South America. A quick 2-0 for ODDIK. And we'll see some more Counter-Strike action coming up in a little bit. We've got NA action around the corner, so you don't want to miss that. But from JRT and Paladin, we are signing off. Thank you, and have a good night.
Your love keeps lifting me.